So, what's your problem? We all have that thing that we know we're supposed to resolve, but we're avoiding it. Whether it's a pain in your shoulder or back, or paying more attention to your diet, or issues with finances and relationships, it's not necessarily procrastination, but we tend to act like it will eventually go away on its own, but it almost never does. We let the issue build up until it becomes a true problem instead of attacking it head on. Well, today we're going to talk about how to take the reins and get moving in the right direction. So, let's hit that intro.
Buckle up and get ready to smash your health and fitness goals. This is FortitudeRx Radio, bringing you engaging conversations that inspire you to take action and take control. Physical and mental resilience, strength, nutrition, rehab, mindset, and more. We've got the prescription. This is FortitudeRx Radio. Here are your hosts, Tyler Campbell and Les Kais.
Welcome back to the FortitudeRx Radio podcast. We're so happy you're here. Today, we have a lot on our minds and on our chests, and I think it's time that we get it out in the open. Les, let's talk about how to stop dancing around our problems and how to start recognizing and becoming our own solution to these problems.
All right, so first off, I want to start out by saying that this is going to be a hard message for some of you to grasp, and you're just going to have to stick with me for a second. But every single issue that you possibly could have right now, whether that is your finances, whether that is your relationship, your job, something to do with fitness, you have some lift that's lagging, you have something that's hurting you. Every single problem you have is a result of your own actions, and it is your own fault. Now, here's the best part. That means that you can actually take control of it, and you can actually make a difference and make a change. But you're going to have to accept the fact that it is the result of your own actions. Now, some of these things might not necessarily be your fault. Like if you were really just born kind of fucked up and like you've got messed up hip anatomy and that's messing with a lift or whatever, it's not necessarily your fault, but it still is your responsibility to fix it. I'm a big believer that if you're going to come to me with complaints, be ready to hear the reasons of why these issues are happening and how to actually resolve it. I'm not big on people really just complaining just to complain. And I feel like that is a huge issue that a lot of people just want to hear themselves heard and just get some attention, and they don't want to actually resolve their problems. Now, if you are somebody that wants to resolve your problems, stick around and listen to some of this stuff. If you have something that is weak or lagging in the gym, or you hate your job, or somebody took advantage of you at work, or whatever happened. Now, I'm even getting down to the nitty gritty, like even down to things that may have happened in your childhood, whatever it is, you still can change the way you think about these things and be proactive and improve your skills or improve your strength or whatever it may be so that you can get out of these ruts, whether that's physically or mentally. I had one period where when I first started powerlifting, I was born with like bony prominence in my hip that kind of messed with my strength and my mobility and my ability to hit depth. And I just looked for every passive way to fix it. I was casually stretching 20, 30 minutes every single session at home, looking for people that will pull on my leg and stretch me and move me around. But I wasn't really leaning into the fact that if I just worked on getting stronger, it would get better. Now, fast forward 3-4 years down the road, I got tired of dealing with the exact same problem and just complaining over and over again. And I started looking into like, what are some of the hard things that I can do? What is the challenging stuff that I can do that is actually going to make me stronger? Once I actually started doing those things, my problems actually went away pretty quick. But we seem to tend to lean towards all these passive things that are going to make us feel better, whether that's physically or mentally. But we don't really want to look ourselves in the mirror and say, okay, what's the actual problem here? How can I actually solve this? And it's 99.9% of the time going to result in some sort of actual hard work. I know, Tyler, you probably see this in like clinical settings all the time, don't you?
Absolutely. The cliche is almost like you need to take a long time to fix your issues. And of course, that's true in some cases where it's like, okay, you took 30 years of bad eating and stuff like that. And whatever it may be, like if you're 200 pounds overweight, of course, that's going to take a while to get off. But if you're like 30 pounds overweight because of 30 years of bad habits and stuff like that, that doesn't mean it has to take 30 years to fix it. If you take massive action that's actually like purposeful and real and hard, and you really go after it, you can get rid of that within this year. You just have to actually fucking do it. And it's the same way with things like experiencing pain for several months or years. That stuff can be resolved within a month if you really get after it and really listen to someone who is intelligent and knows how to resolve these issues and solve your problems mentally when it comes to that stuff as well.
Yeah, and you need to find people that are trying to help you help yourself. You don't need to look for these people that are just going to tell you, oh, just sit, wait, rest, relax. We'll help you. We'll do this. We'll do that. No, you need people that are going to be in your ear that are actually going to tell you the brutal, honest truth of maybe you are in pain because you're weak. Now, it doesn't mean that some of these like hands-on modalities or a therapist or whatever, whether it's physical or mental, doesn't mean that you can't have help and have people that help you. But if you aren't actually doing the work yourself, none of these things are actually going to do a damn bit of difference. Like they're not going to change you. The only thing that can change you is yourself. And I think the hardest part of this is like just the mental hump of accepting that these things are your own fault and that you're in control of them. And you have to stop playing that like victim mindset of, oh, these things were done to me. I want to reiterate every single thing that is wrong with you, you put yourself in that situation. Whether it's your job, you chose that job. You might not like a coworker. Well, if you do not like something and you can't change it, you're just going to have to change the way you think about it. So, changing the way you think about it and then accepting I'm not a victim, I put myself in this situation, then leads to I am now in control of this and I can actively make a change here. Some of these changes, like if you are like 200 pounds overweight, yeah, that's going to take a long time, but you still have to attack that goal hard and fast and do it now. If you sit and wait, nothing is going to happen. If you really put in a bunch of hard work up front too, that kind of leads you down to kind of be able to put it on cruise control later on. If you tweak your back and me or Tyler prescribes you some stuff that's going to make your back feel better, it doesn't mean that whatever we give you is going to feel better right now. But it does mean you're going to have to do it very frequently, and it doesn't mean that you have to do it forever. So you do this hard work up front and you really attack whatever these weaknesses or goals are, you don't have to do as much work later on. So you can kind of put it on cruise control and just have something to refer back to of if this is a problem later on down the road, I already have my checklist of what I need to do, and it becomes easier to resolve these problems.
Yeah, and I think the cruise control is almost a misnomer in that the like your cruise control once you've tried really fucking hard is really fucking fast now. So if you are good at trying hard and good at getting through these things because you've challenged yourself greatly, your cruise control now becomes 70 miles an hour as opposed to 30 miles an hour, and you're hurtling towards your goals as opposed to your cruise control as it is now, maybe being a slow crawl backwards more than anything, and you barely notice it until you've gained even more weight or whatever it may be. So I've talked about this before, where it's the common saying of it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, and all that sort of stuff. It's a sprint for marathoners. They literally run 4-minute miles, almost 5-minute miles for 26 miles straight.
Absolutely.
I can't do that. It's very, very fast. Like I can't sprint as fast as they probably are on cruise control because they've trained for that. They're good at that, at doing that. So that's the
Yeah,
thing. Is like,
and no one did that for them.
no one did that at all for them, but they probably had a coach. They probably had someone who knows how to make them do that and how to get into their head to tell them that they can actually do this shit.
Yeah, and that's really important too, to have a coach or a significant other or a friend or whoever, somebody that you can lean on and you can share some of these issues with, and they're not just going to pad your ego and pat you on the back and say, it's okay, it'll be better tomorrow. No, you need people that are going to give you a little tiny bit of sympathy, but are also going to actually push you to making a damn change because, again, you're the only person that make a change. Like I can write down a perfect program and put it on paper for anybody to do, but they're not going to get stronger unless they do it. Um, it's really simple when you think about it. Nothing changes unless you actually work and you achieve it yourself. No one else is going to do it. And you have to ask yourself, am I complaining about something because I just want sympathy and attention? Or am I complaining about something because I actually want to make it change? And I know I don't really want to hear anybody complaining about anything that just wants sympathy, in my opinion. And most people don't. Like you're going to actually kind of push people away and lose friends when you are just complaining about the same issues over and over again and not actually actively making a change.
Yeah, and putting that on other people is unfair anyway to them. It's like they probably have their own issues that they're actually working through. And if you find yourself in a situation where everyone's just complaining back and forth, you're probably in the wrong circle, and you should probably figure out how to find someone who's going to say, for sympathy's sake, that sucks. I feel for you. Now what? Instead of that sucks. Let's cry about it together. So what are we actually going to do together to fix this? What are you going to do to fix it? And that's really the question you have to answer.
Absolutely. I actually, not long ago, I tweaked my pec real bad. It kind of threw, I wasn't able to do a competition anymore. I wasn't really able to bench press. It made a lot of my other lifting very limited. And I see this where people run into these issues and they panic and they just kind of throw their hands in the air and they're like, well, it's just all over and I'm just going to sit and I'm just going to be upset for a while. And I don't really understand that because all I did was, okay, like I am hurt. I will now show up to the gym tomorrow and I'll just objectively do the things that are going to make me better. So sometimes when you hit some of these walls of, running into these big problems that bother you, and you just kind of change the way you think about it in the sense of it's not necessarily a problem. It's just now an opportunity to work on some stuff that I've probably been neglecting in the past. I was neglecting some of the mobility stuff that I needed to do, some of the accessories that I needed to do, and I was now able to shift my focus towards making myself better in the long run instead of just. I could have easily went and probably gotten some sort of steroid shot or had some sort of quick fix that would have just gotten it to feel better so I could just get through it. And there are some times where you do need like a quick fix. You might need somebody to pop your back. You might need somebody to just quickly give you a resolution, but it's not going to solve any problem in the long run. Because if I would have done some sort of quick fix for my pec and not taken some time and do the hard work to make it better for the long run, I would have been dealing with the same issue 6 months from now when I decided to push my bench again. I would have just kept getting hurt over and over again. But me actually taking a step back and not panicking and just saying, okay, I'm just going to work on this and do the things that I've been neglecting so that in the future, it doesn't give me these issues again. I now can make progress towards my goals without a bunch of stuff holding myself back. And it would just all be on me anyway.
Two things about that. The Band-Aid thing is a big part of this to me, is like getting manipulations and getting pushed on by a PT or a chiropractor or whatever, coming from a physical therapist here, like it's a Band-Aid. It literally doesn't fix anything without you doing work right afterwards to use that new range of motion or use that pain-free, whatever you have now. And it's totally fine to use a Band-Aid for a cut. Like we know that's fine to use Band-Aid for a cut. The problem wasn't that you got cut. It's that you're now bleeding and you have to stop that. So be it, whatever. But what you don't want to do is just eat a plate of Band-Aids to try to fix your solution. The solution is obviously not just Band-Aids all the time, every day. You have to actually do the work, and your body is doing the work for a cut specifically to heal itself. And that's what you have to do for everything else. And the second thing is, if you're a lifter or someone who likes competing with themselves or anything like that, if you're listening to this podcast, you probably want some solutions when it comes to, or you want some problems to actually find and fix, because it's going to change your life, really. So when you run into something like an injury or something like that, as a powerlifter specifically, your previous challenge to get over was the progress of making it to that meet, to that competition. And when you get injured, you have to view that as, now this is my problem, as opposed to getting to the meet. My problem is now something else for now. And if you can get over that hurdle, you're better at getting over hurdles. It's always about that. It's always being better at doing that. It's being better at reacting to the things that are negative. And that'll get you through a prep later where you don't get injured anyway, because you'll run into hurdles there every time anyway. It never goes perfectly. So you have to be prepared to not panic, like Les is saying, and keep moving forward, regardless of the situation.
Yeah, and the more you practice these things and the better you get mentally of accepting the challenge of, this is my own fault, I put myself here, I will now resolve this. The more you practice that, the easier it gets. It doesn't ever become extremely easy because we're all still going to have feelings of self-doubt and we're all going to have days where we're down, but you will start to find trends of how to get into that better mindset. I was having somewhat of an off morning myself, and I was feeling a little bit sorry for myself, feeling a little bit bitchy. But the second I put my headphones in and listened to a podcast that just sparked some creative ideas in my head, and I went on a walk and I exerted myself a little bit physically, I got back in that good mindset to where I'm now able to talk to you guys and not suck ass talking about this topic. The other part of this too is the better you are at helping yourself, the better you'll be at helping other people. And then the better you are at helping other people, the better it's going to make you feel about yourself. So you inadvertently do inspire other people when they see you actively resolving your problems. I was blown away by the amount of people that were messaging me from my pec injury, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Are you okay?" And I was just responding with, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just now working on it. I'm not like, it's not really a big deal. I don't understand the big deal. Here's just what I'm doing to make it better." Tons of people were inspired by that, and they were just shocked that I was handling things so objectively. And it's a lot of them were saying that they were now inspired to work on some of their issues, and they weren't panicking and freaking out about it themselves. And I had no intention of helping other people. I got hurt and I was just trying to fix it. And I just felt like posting what I was doing. But yet it inspired other people and it made other people better, which therefore made me feel better about myself. And now I can objectively chase after my goals because I just feel better about myself.
Yeah, definitely. Same way with my back injury, and under 3 weeks later, hitting a deadlift PR and stuff like that, and then 4 days later to show you up, try to do another deadlift PR. Probably stupid, There's it's one of those things though. It's fun, and so
yeah, but sometimes you got to test yourself a little bit.
Yeah, it's just a matter of enjoying yourself sometimes and letting it go and just moving on into trying harder again. I yelled at the bar when I was going to do the PR twice in 4 days, and that's usually several months in between each thing. So sometimes it's about finding something else within yourself to just move on in the moment and do it, and just keep on moving forward. So is there anything else you wanted to add to this?
No, I think that pretty much covers it. Just stop making excuses for yourself because it is your own fault. Stop victimizing yourself. And if you have these feelings of self-doubt creeping in, talk to somebody that's going to actually tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
And to reiterate the idea of it's not your fault, but it's your responsibility. Even if that fault didn't start with you, if you're not taking the responsibility, it's now your fault that you're not doing so. And therefore,
Absolutely.
It is your fault. So keep moving forward, keep taking the actions, find the people who are going to support those actions as opposed to supporting your feelings only, and keep moving forward.
Hey, real quick, I want to thank you for listening to this episode and mention that our only sponsor is our own company, FortitudeRx. We provide strength, health, nutrition, rehab, and mindset coaching to both competitive athletes and anyone who's looking for real, practical solutions to help them reach their goals. Check out the resources in the show notes to connect with us and get access to our private coaching community, FRxCircle. Thanks again.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of FortitudeRx Radio. You're officially one step closer to conquering your goals and living your best life. For more info or to connect with your host, check out FortitudeRx.com. We'll see you next time.